Don't lose your way. Your mind, we have to be as one.
What is up, YouTube? Warstorm here, coming at you guys with doing a locals report today. I normally don't do these a ton, but I did. I thought I'd go ahead and showcase you guys my Metalfoe Yang Zing list that I piloted locals. I didn't do too well. I think I went like only one game, but overall, like, this was actually my first time piloting the deck. So we always have kinks when we have our first time piloting a deck. So I thought I'd go ahead and showcase you list, and like full disclosure, like well, the main deck went through a few minor changes, and like the side deck was literally thrown together at the last minute. So like all that full disclosure. So first, of course, for the Metalfoes, and I'm also using a new deck profile angle. So if you like it, let me know down in the comment section down below, and I'll keep it. So I just opted to go for 2 of every Metalfoe. I know that the guy who top 16 at YCS Anaheim had 10, and you can play 10 and it works fine. But I feel like I never felt like I really saw too many Metalfoes during my local trip. I feel like this was pretty solid. You can play more if you really want to, but honestly, like, I would not play search cards like Painful Decision and Summer's Art personally, but it's really up to preference. The main thing is this isn't like standard Metalfoes where you have like cards to re-access your Metalfoes. So I feel like 8 and even out scales is pretty good. No matter what, just make sure your scales ratio and you should be good to go. Next up, we have we have the 3 copies of Yugioh 2, Darkness of the Yang Zing. Most of the time, you want to get to this card turn 1, obviously, because, you can pop any Yang Zing to get, with a Metalfoe to get to this, and you resolve it, and it just, like, puts down a lockdown board. Shouldn't need to talk too much about that. And then, of course, the 3 copies of Chaiwin. Chaiwin, it is, the other tuner. It's really good because you can special, like, if you have Dinglong online and a counter trap set, like, and you don't open the combo turn 1, but you get Dinglong online, you can summon this out after your Dinglong triggers engrave, and then make another Herald of Artlake that can't be destroyed by battle because you're going to grab Beyond from the deck. It's one of the most integral combos in the deck. I would highly recommend, like, some people play 2, but I'm just kind of like 3 personally, but then for the Pendulums, the Zephyra Pendulums, we play the 1 Treasure and the 3 Secret. The main reason we have Treasure in here isn't for the Ultimaya play, because this requires more resources in this deck than it does in standard Metalfoes, but it's really good because if you special summon, now that we have Dinglong, a lot of times you'll want to grab this from deck with Yugioh 2 because you'll be able to make Dinglong and Boxia and then do all your combos turn 1. It really helps. And 3 Secret stable because the level is really important for getting your Boxia loops going. And it searches out your new counter trap, which is really good. Then for some of the other Yang Zing's names, we have 3 Suwani and 2 Beyond. Beyond came down for some of the extra cards I wanted to fit in, but 3 Suwani has always been stable to me because it's your big beater, gives your monsters 500 attack. Beyond is really good because you can special summon it from deck and summon the Chaiwin out of your graveyard and then make a Herald of Arclight that can't be destroyed by battle. I actually did a Dinglong with this in Yugioh 2, and it does put certain decks, like I think he was playing Burning Abyss, and a lot of decks just have trouble getting over a Dinglong that can't be destroyed by battle. 2800 is not, the smallest attack monster in the world, so pretty much I liked the lineup. I didn't really miss it. Then for some of the last couple Yang Zings, one a Big C and 1 Palau. These really, like, I felt like these were fine. Traps, you're not really being immune to traps, since this isn't like the old trap builds. Isn't really that relevant because, like, most of the popular counter traps are floodgates, like Dimensional Barrier, or like, people just aren't running traps that aren't like floodgates or counter traps right now. Palau is okay. I mean, it's just another name, but like, most of the time people aren't going to be regeking you anyways playing this deck. So it's like, I mean, like, with Monarchs, like, irrelevant now, I feel like, but they're kind of just more names. Now for the engine that I've seen a lot of people playing, and I really like it, which is the 3 Terror Top and the 1 Red-Eye Dice. This engine is, like, absolutely amazing. It's a lot like, now, like, I know the YCS Anaheim's build, I believe he was running the 1 Techaton board, which you could probably find a card like Oracle or something to trim if you so wish, but it's kind of like a lot like Brilliant Fusion. Like, you want to see Terror Top turn 1 because what Terror Top does for the deck is allows you to basically, if you have Terror Top and 1 Yang Zing card and a Metalfoe in hand, it cuts the combo you need to get your turn 1 Yugioh 2 lay off by 1 card, which is really good. There will times where you'll draw the Red-Eyed Dice and it sucks, but it's a lot like Brilliant Fusion. Like, you risk it for the biscuits. You want to see this turn 1. So yeah, if you want to play Takatomborg, you probably could find like a spell card or something in the deck to cut. But I will swear by this engine. I would definitely play it. And same. But if you're playing Takatomborg, you obviously want to play Break Sword in your extra deck. Then for the spells, the one Oracle the Zephyr, this card worked out really good. The theory behind this card was that you activate it and it searches one of your Zephyr cards. I did use the stack effect, but like the stack effect is really good in combination with Stardust Charge Warrior because you can stack the top deck with this, then draw it off of Charge Warrior. But it never came up. I don't think Stardust. I didn't make a. There's only one instance where I could have made a level 6 synchro, and I just ended up making Zhaofeng instead, so it didn't really come up. The one Upstart Goblin, Drew, it's pretty much good. You play 3 of it in this deck because you need to get to your combo piece as quickly as possible. The one Soul Charge, I saw it once. I don't think I resolved it, but it's kind of a. I love the card in this deck because it lets you set up so many broken boards, but at the same time, it's not a card you want in your opening hand. So it's kind of like it's good, but it's not like oh my god, The one Metalfoe Fusion, this is just a pop with Moxie. I don't play Adamantite or Calc in this build, but I mean, you can if you want to, but I just don't find them necessary at all. Then lastly, the 2 copies of Yang Zing Path. I know some people are cutting this down to 1, and I really don't understand why, because the Yang Zing name, and there's times where you do need the second one to kind of like shuffle your combo pieces back, and I think I'd play 2. 2 is kind of like, 3 is way too much, you don't want to see it, but like 2 is like just right, at least in my opinion, with Path. Next up, we have the 2 Metalfoe combination. A lot of players will say you only need 1, but I don't really see where that logic comes from. Like, there were multiple times where I blew up 2, and you're definitely going to want to play 2 of this, because you just don't want to run out of targets, and, like, there are times where you will resolve 2, and you do need the second target, in my opinion. I don't play counter, but, like, you could theoretically, if you so wish. Then the last trap is, of course, 3 copies of 9 Pillars, the Yang Zing. Amazing counter trap, amazing, like, this card is so ridiculously good. Being able to negate anything, basically negate anything and then shuffle it back in the deck is so good. And the fact that it doesn't cause your Yang Zing to miss timing allows you to just do so many nutty things. If you trim a Danglong, for example, one thing you can do is like, if you tribute a Danglong with this, you can special summon, you can trigger Chaiwen Engrave after this resolves, and then special summon Beyond with the Danglong's effect when it leaves the field, and then you can make a Herald of Arclight and then just put your opponent in all kinds of trouble. Card's amazing, definitely. Now go over the side. Like, I will say the side was kind of thrown together at the last minute. Like, I knew like at least like 4 cards that were good, and I sided in. So anyway, so we have 2 copies of Maxi. Sided these against the Burning Abyss player. Came in pretty helpful. Maxi's a card in this type of deck where it's like a deck where it's a combo based go first type of deck. I don't like it main decked, but inside it works really well. I definitely liked it. It was good. Definitely side this. Then the 2 copies of Gamma Seal came up once. The unfortunate thing was he had a Christia out. It was like it came up like I had it in my hand and he came and he got a Christia, but it sucked, but it happens. I like Gamma Seal a lot, though in the side, because one of the neat things you can do is you can tribute off an opponent's monster and then return it to the deck with like Boxia. So it's really good. And the 2200 number, like, I would definitely play this. If you do side Kaiju's and Metalfoe Yang Zings, you want to side this over like Sticky String, because Boxy's only at 2300. Yeah, Boxy, well, theoretically Boxy can spin it back, but like I just prefer Gamma Seal because that extra attack sometimes sometimes matters. Then 2 Psycho Readers. I think I only sided this against the Herald player I played. I didn't run into ABCs luckily all day, but the card's good. But I feel like against the Cyber Angel player, I probably should have sided Book of Eclipse. But overall, speaking of that, we have 2 copies of Book of Eclipse. So this card is really, you should definitely be, a lot of people are mainboarding this in like ABCs and stuff like that. And the theory is good because against ABCs, like, this card is a must side in Metalfoe Yang Zings because the deck has trouble getting rid of like floodgatey type monsters. So what Book of Eclipse does, it puts all those things face down, and then you can just make your Boxia and return them to the deck. Definitely side these. Definitely side these. These are a must side in Metalfoe Yang Zings in my opinion. Then just from some get rid of floodgate monsters, Wonder Geki, Wonder Hole. No, I don't. I feel like these are kind of decent. Like, these are just kind of like, oh, I have them, might as well side them, but they never really come up. The one skill drain, good card, but like it never really was an instance I feel like I needed to side it in. I didn't run into anything like that was kind of applicable against like I guess I could have sided it in against the Herald player, but I didn't. Then the two Imperial Iron Walls. Iron Wall never went in, but the whole theory behind this is that it does several things for you. Like, yes, System Down's technically the better overall card against ABCs, but this card covers several bases for you. One, the rare instance someone might Ghost Reaper, they can't Ghost Reaper Winter Cherries or Boxias if this is out, but the main thing is this turns off Dark Law. And like, if you flip this up on heroes, it basically turns off Dark Law and allows you to reuse your Chai Winds. Like, the deck literally, like, this doesn't hurt the deck whatsoever. And like, I would definitely, like, I feel like System Down's a bit better, but in theory, this card's really good. It's good against heroes because it turns off Dark Law, and it's pretty good against ABCs if you flip it on them like early on. And then last two sides, there's two Typhoons. I mean, this could theoretically be MSTs. The main thing is this is like a turn one. Basically, like, you want to side in cards that when you're going second, you're going to be going second a lot because your opponent's not going to let you go first. Basically, like, Typhoon's like a first turn MST, so you can drop it on them when they try to Metalfoe player, when they try to go for their scale play. It's also good against anti-fun fragrance, so it works pretty good. Didn't side it at all, though. Like, I will be completely honest, like, the game is not that back row heavy right now. Yeah, Burning Abyss, like, there aren't a lot of back row heavy decks right now outside of ABCs, and even some ABC builds don't play a lot of back row. But for the extra deck, the one copy of Zanglong, amazing card. I know the YCS Anaheim guy was playing 3 of this, but the second one never came up. Like, it never, like, the only time a second one would come up is if you're making on your opponent's turn, and it really never comes up. Like, you don't need more than one of this. Like, it's amazing card, but like, you really don't need more than one. Then the 3 Boxias. Boxia's a card I always swear by. Like, my theory is it's like Raid Raptor Force Tricks. Like, you play 3 because you're gonna go into the third one. You're gonna go into 4 or 5 times, but this third one never came up. So you could theoretically bump this down, but I do feel like the card is like worth playing at 3. It's your best card. It's your best combo piece, and you could cut it down if you wanted to fit something else in here, but I feel like it's way too good not to play at 3. Then for the other two Yang Zing, one Yazi, one Chaofeng. Didn't make Yazi all day, but I did make Chaofeng with like I think it was with a Jiaozu and a Volflame. It comes up. I know a lot of players would swear by Trishula, but like this card is so much better than Trishula in this deck. Like, and I mean, I know a lot of your removal does target, but if you really need non-target removal, Ignister is a card. So I feel like, I would definitely play both of these. Like, Chaofeng is so good, and Chaofeng is really good against ABCs. It's easy to go into. You just need a Chai Win and a Boxia, and it can negate all light monster effects. And Yazi's Yazi. A lot of decks have trouble getting over an untargetable 2600 monster. Of course, the one Herald of Arclight didn't come up, but it's a really good card. You just set it on it with Beyond, and it just makes your life difficult for your opponent. The one Charge Warrior never came up. There was only one instance where I could have gone into it, but it was pretty good. The one Metaphys Horus, there was an instance I could have gone into it. The Herald player had, I think, Saphira or Ouroboros online. I feel like this was the more optimal. This was the less optimal play than making the Chaofeng, but hindsight's 20/20, I guess. The one Ignister, I try to remember. I don't think I made it once, but you need to play it because it's easy to go into. You just need you can make it during your normal Boxia loot combos, so it's pretty good. The one Crystal Wing, I never went into it. It doesn't really come up that much, but I feel like if you can't, it's one of those cards. If you can't go into it, you go into it. The one Scarlight, it actually won me a game. I love this card in the extra because just being able to nuke the whole field is nice, but it finishes games off. So basically, one of the things you do a lot with the deck is you'll end up clearing your. A lot of times you'll end up clearing your opponents with two of your Boxias, but you could go for a third, but you're not going to have enough for a game. So that's where Scarlight comes in, because one of the things you'll do is typically you'll have 2 Boxias and like a level 6 Pendulum still sitting on the field. You attack with Boxia, attack with Scarlight, leave your opponent about 400, then Scarlight will just burn them for game. And it does come up in other scenarios. There are some other situations where I do go into it. It's just way too good in my opinion. Like, you need to have it. Of course, the one Void Ogre Dragon, actually didn't go into it yesterday, but only played like 3 or 4 matches, so it's a good card. Like, you go into it during your turn 1 combos, but like I just found myself having a lot of cards like just stuck in my hand, not being able to set them. So then the one Nirvana High Paladin, love this card. Actually won me one of my matches. Basically, like you go into it with you just need a Boxia and Metalfoe Pendulum Summon Steel Rin, and you go into this. And the biggest thing that gives this deck, it gives this deck just a big beefy beater. And the biggest attack monster, you do have monsters like Crystal Wing and Scarlight that do have a lot of attack. It's just nice to have something that's bigger, and on top of that, it can recycle combo pieces. And if you do decide to play, if like you do want to play the Takaton board, this is probably the card I would trim out for it, and to make room for Break Sword. But it's really up to you. Like I like the card a lot. It's just I'm a fan of the card, so I'm gonna play it. Then the one number 38, this came up a couple times. Like you need to play it because it gives you like. Typically, if you go off turn 1, you want to have this, Void Ogre, and like a couple set counter traps with attributable Yang Zing. And so, yeah. So anyway, guys, comes about to the end of my locals report for you guys today. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you'd like to see more locals reports like this when I do go, let me know down in the comment section below. As always, I thank you guys for watching. It's Orstorm, signing out.